Hey guys, I'm back. Today we have a Seed of the Triumvirate 14. I'll be putting up timestamps, so if you want to skip around the video to the important stuff or whatever, just look for them. And as you know, it's a Brewmaster season, Shadowpan to be specific, which I don't like. So I'll just stick to Master of Harmony as you'll see. So first things first, the route. I can tell you that if you follow this route, you'll be able to time up to 14 with a good amount of time left over, like I was. My group wasn't that great, but we still managed to time it. And these are my Master of Harmony talents. I have 1 point in Walk with the Ox, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna drop it. I don't know how to feel about it. I'll probably look to put it somewhere else. And this is the gear and my stats so far. 29% crit and 26% mastery. Um, you'll see that my crit is going to spike right now, and my mastery is going to drop because of the radiant plume. I got it in my vault this week, so right now it's giving me about 6% mastery, and as you can see there, it's giving me about 6% crit. So it's a really good trinket. I'm kind of happy I got it in my vault. So in this Seed of Triumvirate, I think I had up to 40% crit, tied in together with the Gaze of the Onseer, which I got. I mean, it's a champion version, but it's still pretty good. And as you can see here, I crafted a one-handed, and I have a hero one-hander. I have a two-hander, but you know me, I like one-handeds. So double enchants and all of that. And here we're gonna get into the pull, and just remember that this pull is super important. You can get one shot. So what you do here is correcting Jade Lightning, pull this other pack, and you don't want to outrun the Shadowguard Champions, right? Just creep slowly into the second pack, and once you have them all, establish threat, right? You go use all of your cooldowns there, making sure that you're fine. So you can see there the Merciless Subjugator. I dropped threat on it for some reason. I didn't get enough threat on it. But as you can see there, you just want to move around, making small movements, because those Shadowguard Champions, they'll charge you and they'll leave a dot that inflicts like 100k damage on you per second. And you kind of don't want to have 3 or 4 of those on you, right? So you always have to make small movements. Later on, you'll see in the run, I kind of messed up, and I had some of them hit me during the void portal phase, where you have to kill those void spawns that seal the portals. But just as long as you're making small movements, you're backing up slowly, you don't use Tiger Lust and move, you're fine. You can move a decent distance before they'll charge you. But again, you always kind of want to make sure that you're right on top of them. You're going to see an example of how to kite them, right? Again, I'm just moving back slow, throwing my keg, and I'm moving up ahead a little bit. I got too far ahead of one, but just enough so that the ones that are in front of me don't charge me, and the ones that are behind me don't charge me as well, right? Sadly, one of them was a little bit too far back, and he charged me. But this is how you group them up. I know we're meant to. Well, we kind of know that we always have to kite, and we kind of ring a piece and then we kite away. But you don't want to ring a piece. If you ring a piece, you knock them away, and then you run ahead. They're gonna charge you, and you're dead. And again, just moving slowly, making sure that the guy's still hitting me within range of me, and I pull the next pack. And that's all it is to it, right? I think the biggest mistake people make here is like what we normally do, which is we tag mobs and we run to the next one, tag mobs and then run to the next one. But you don't want to do that with these guys. Now here I'm just pulling these little trash mobs. They don't hit hard, right? But it's just free count that you can pull into the boss. Again, I'm not too sure if any of these classes benefit from this, like they used to in the War Within. But again, I mean, it's trash that we can clear with the boss, so why not? Okay, so there's a little bit of a trick here that I'm going to show you right now. So good on the mage to drag that decimate away to a good corner. That's fine. We've killed up all of the mobs, and now oozing slime. Okay, I'm looking at where they're going, right? So I see that there's one really close to us, and then one that's really far. The one that's really far, just paralysis, and that's it. He's taken care of. All you have to do is just be a little bit attentive to the cooldown of it. They're pinging them not to hit it, right? Like just leave it there. They don't have to focus on it. It's more uptime for the DPS on the boss. So I've taken that slime out of the equation, right? And you're thinking, well, you're probably saying like, oh, well, what the hell does that even matter, right? Well, more DPS uptime on the boss is better for timing it a little bit faster, right? Again, the group probably would have taken 15 seconds to kill it. And there, I just wait for a decimate cast to roll into it and then reparalyze and then roll back, right? And that's it. That's all you have to do. If at any point you feel like they're getting close to the boss, you just ring a piece, and that's it. I'm just pinging them to kill that one because it's a little bit too close. They're knocking them away. They're gonna go DPS them down somewhere else, I guess. And again, if they only need to kill one and then go back to the boss, I mean, this saves us time, right? So, any little bit of time that you can save is always important in these dungeons, right? And again, waiting for decimate cast or here crashing void and going back to reparalyze it. These pulls here are pretty standard, right? You're just trying to gather as many of them as you can. Again, Shadowguard Champions, you hit it and you just walk, right? Notice how I didn't Tiger's Lust there, because if I did, he would have charged me. And there's two of them, right? You would have gotten hit with a double charge with a dot that is probably going to tick on you for like 150k every 2 seconds. And, you know, Brewmaster is a meta tank right now, but again, playing it smartly is probably also part of why it's meta, right? People need to understand a couple of the mechanics that these NPCs have. And trust me, it took me a while to learn this stuff. I have never done this dungeon before. I wasn't around during Legion, so I've never done this. I didn't know that they charged and like they could knock you out. They can take you out in 2 seconds. So again, all of those, the main threats are dead. Here I'm just looking to kite, keeping an eye out on our healer's mana, throwing out a heal whenever I can, and do the next pull. Hit those guys, hit this guy. There I'm going to set it up, ring a piece, because I know we have a caster in this pack, right? So, luckily the DK grips him in. It probably would have been smart if they, I would have just tagged them and the DK would have pulled him in there. And you always have to look to interrupt first, right? You can count on your teammates, but sometimes it's better if you do it. Okay, so this pull, you're going to see why you don't roll away with these, right? I rolled away and I got hit with double charge and immediately, look at that, I'm put into the red. And then again, double charge. So it's like, you don't want to do that. It puts yourself in unnecessary danger, right? So whenever you're kiting these guys, just take it slow, right? Don't get too far ahead of yourself. We get to the second boss. This is like a cleave fight, right? And normally you want the last tier. Shade Wing, it's marked because that's the one you need to interrupt, right? I'm using Platinator. I like it, but I also kind of don't like that it's really janky in the way the nameplates kind of stack. It's weird. I don't know. I don't like it. But again, Plater just doesn't seem to work as well for me. I don't know why. But it is what it is. So again, it's a cleave fight. Shade Wing's the only one you have to interrupt. Always try to keep them together. And when the bombs spawn, try not to run over them because you will get a debuff. You'll see that later on I get it, and it's like I'm taking shadow damage. So you won't want to do that to yourself. There I had to move away last minute. But the fight is pretty straightforward, right? The main important thing is to interrupt Shadewing, and then the healer does pretty much the rest, right? He just makes sure that no one dies during the bleed and during the AoE. And your job is just to make sure that you keep everybody together so that the DPS can cleave them all down fast. While we were waiting there for the healer to drink up, I was asking them why the healer couldn't take the battle res sooner, and apparently the Death Knight res them on top of a bomb, so the healer would have died immediately. Luckily, we were able to survive that part without the healer for a little bit, but I mean, it is what it is with pugs, right? So this, you always want to make sure you interrupt. I don't know if any of you guys used the kick tracker back in the War Within. I feel like it's not necessary right now because they did a good job of making sure that casters aren't wailing on you, right? And if you pull smart, you won't have more than like 2 casters per pack. Unlike me here, you're going to see in a little bit, I messed up, right? So this pull is okay. Like, it's still fine. Just taking care of these casters, right? But you're going to see in a minute where I kind of messed up. So we already have 2 casters, and here I'm pulling 2 more. That's 4, right? That's already way too many. And again, like I said, if you follow this route, and I guess take your time and be patient and do the pulls, you know, as they're marked, you're gonna time it with ease, right? Here I messed up because look at this. Everybody's just casting everywhere, right? And healer dies. And then not only the healer dies, but then we also start to lose DPS. And there I'm trying to spam heals, right? So instant vivifies after Keg Smash. Had to pop my fortifying brew. I'm like, oh man, like this is probably really stupid. And it is, you know, there's no need to do these kind of pulls, right? Just because you as a tank probably can survive it, it doesn't mean that your team will, right? And there's no need for you to put them in this kind of stupid danger. Luckily, we were able to recover, but we had 3 deaths there added to our timer that we didn't need. So this pull here, I think it might have been like a lack of healing here that killed both of these, but they did both have the eruption debuff from the Void Reaver guy, whatever. But I'm pretty sure the healer could have out healed that, right? The DK and himself were running defensive, so Not too sure what happened there. But again, that's a pole that people can heal through, right? And again, I'm trying to keep everyone up. There, the mage somehow managed to live there. I mean, I get hit by this orb. Probably should keep my eyes open more for that. Okay, now on to Viceroy Nezhar. I want to say that this guy is kind of easy, but he's definitely like healing intensive, right? Like the healer has his hands full here. Apart from the fact that people have to dodge those orbs and not get hit by them. When the tentacles spawn, it's just like everybody's getting blasted, and they have to make sure that they're healing through all of it, right? So here I'm just waiting for them to spawn, and you'll see. Always drag the boss towards the 3 stack, right? Because they'll be able to cleave off of boss damage, and then individually, all of the DPS can just single target one of these, right? I'm pretty sure you can stun these, so just to see them. And somehow there, I managed to roll into the collapsing void knockback and didn't get knocked back. It was kind of interesting. I don't know what happened there. And again, here, again, it's just a very healing intensive fight here. The healer just has to be on top of his stuff. We survived this. This is also a pretty good boss to use Transcendence on, right? So right before the knockback, you transcend. You'll leave your spirit in the middle and then just transcend back to it. So it's one of those fights where it's I guess a little helpful type of thing. Especially if you don't have Tiger's Lust and you're not able to run back to the middle. It's almost near impossible unless you start running just as you get knocked back. And again here, pulling the boss towards the 3 tentacle stack, taking it out, and then just looking for the next one and cleaving it off. It would be very good to kick those Mind Blasts, because you saw there, it hit me for a huge amount. And that's the whole fight. Just rinse and repeat on that. And here we meet Lura. Just kind of interesting, right? Like going back on the Legion lore and how this boss ties into the whole Dark Well and stuff like that, right? I did know that this Naru being was part of the Legion Mythic Dungeon thing, but I mean, I never played Legion, so I don't know what's up with it. But anyways, in this boss, you just have to make sure that you aim the beam towards those little pulsing Naru looking things on the outside, right? You don't want to stack up and hit the same one. It's unnecessary, right? It makes it so that the damage amp phase gets pushed back to another one of those frontal beam phases. As you can see, you're having a debuff stack on you, right? Which means you're taking more shadow damage the longer it stacks up. You kind of don't want that, right? It makes it harder on your healer to keep everyone up, especially if you're like ramping up the stacks. I'm pretty sure that in one of these, somebody stacks up on top of me instead of stacking or, well, picking out the 3rd and final orb, and that kind of made things funky. But again, save your lust for this phase once this cast finishes, because the Lura takes more damage here, so you want to use your lust here to make sure you pump. Where the silliness happens. Look at this. So I've lined up myself with this, right? And boom, out of nowhere, where did this guy come from? Like, what? Like, I don't get it. And I'm looking around and I'm like, dude, that guy missed his on that end there. So he should have aimed for that one. And he doubled down on mine for no reason. It was weird. And again, the debuff is just stacking more and more. Luckily, the healer was able to keep everyone up. But this could have died a lot faster. I'm 100% sure. If we didn't mess up these frontal lines. But that's Lura on the 14 seat of the Triumvirate. Again, it's just that first pull that I guess can really mess up tanks, but if you learn how to do it, you're good to go. The rest is all just patience, right? And making sure you have the DPS, which I'm about to show you the meters to and the healing stuff so you can see. I will say I don't like the stock Blizzard meters. They suck. But that's the overall 68k. It's kind of low, honestly. I've seen other Brewmasters do like 100k, 80k, more. But it's Master of Harmony. And of course, the healer's healing. So that Seed of the Triumvirate, again, it's the first pull that can really mess you up. Hope you guys learned a little something from it. I know it took me a long time to learn it. And if you have any questions, leave a comment. Or if you have any tips, leave a comment. I'll be uploading another 14 video maybe Monday or Tuesday. So I will see you guys then. Take care.